Good evening. I'm J.M. Kendrick, the Community Outreach and Engagement Manager for the Cleveland Park Streetscape and Drainage Improvement Project. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've met with several of you over the past few years during the concept and design phase, and tonight we're excited to present the construction project. Before we begin, I'd like to review just some basic controls to help you participate on this platform. Please note this is an open meeting, and as required by DC Code 2-578, this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be made available to the public. The video file with both audio and video will be shared on the project team's website and Ddot's YouTube channel. That you can find that at youtube.com/Ddot videos within 7 days after the meeting has ended. This meeting is being live streamed to Ddot's Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Ddotdc. If you do not wish to have your voice recorded, you may enter any questions or comments in the Q&A, which we will review shortly. If you need technical assistance during this meeting, please call 202-309-3491. Using WebEx. Audio and muting. Everyone is on mute. You cannot unmute yourself. We can unmute you during the Q&A and comment period. This helps to ensure the meeting runs smoothly and there are no auditory disruptions during the presentation. To request to speak, you will need to use the raised hand feature, which we will cover shortly. Your video camera is off by default and you will not be able to share video. If you have a question or a comment that you would like to speak up about, please raise your hand. This indicates to the project team that you would like to speak. To virtually raise your hand, click Participants on the bottom right of the WebEx window. A new panel or window will appear. Near the bottom of the panel window, there will be a small hand icon. Click the hand icon to raise your hand. If you join via browser or mobile app, click the 3-dot icon and select Raised Hand. If you dial in by phone, dial *3 to use the Raised Hand feature. At this point, I will turn this over to our Ddot project manager, Ddot Kabidi. He will introduce our team.
Thank you, Jam. Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for joining us today. My name is Ddot Kabidi. I'm with Ddot, and I'm the project manager and contract administrator for Cleveland Park Streetscape and Drainage Improvement Project. As you all may know, Ddot design team coordinated the design with the community, businesses, utility companies, and all other stakeholders, and conducted public meetings in different stages of the design. We would like to thank you for all your support and feedbacks throughout the design phase, and we're asking you again to continue your support during the construction phase. As most of you know, the project is located along Connecticut Avenue Northwest from Macomb Street at the south end and Porter Street at the north end. The main objectives of our project is to resolve the recurring flooding issue near Cleveland Park Metro Station. This is the first phase of this effort, and it will resolve over 50% of the drainage issue at this location. And phase 2 is currently under design and will cover more watershed area to resolve the drainage issue at 100% level. If you need more information about phase 2, you can visit the project website. We will post the website link in the chat box before we end this presentation. The other main objective of this project is to improve pedestrian and vehicular safety at the intersection of Connecticut and Ordway and Connecticut, Porter, and Quebec Street. This safety improvement support the Mayor's Vision Zero initiative to bring zero traffic fatalities and serious injuries by the year 2024. So this is a construction team, and we are here today to announce that we're going to start the construction on March 21st, 2022, and also to give you the project overview and explain different phases of the construction. We are so excited to start and deliver this project for you as per the schedule. And we also understand that some of you have a concern about your businesses, temporary roadway, alley, and parking lane closures, but the project team will closely work with each of you to minimize any inconvenience during the construction. The current slide includes Ddot managers and communication specialists, but myself, they will assist us from our main office, but myself and my colleague, William Lester, will be the actual Ddot engineers on the ground following the day-to-day activity on site along with our construction management team. With that, I'll turn the floor to Andrew Lee. He is our construction manager, and he introduced the construction management team and will deliver the first portion of today's presentation. Andrew.
Daweed, I want to echo Daweed's sentiment. We are very excited to be here. This is a very exciting project that we're about to undertake. And you'll see a lot of new and improvements to the project that I think many community members will benefit from. So as Daweed said, my name is Andrew Lee. I'm the construction manager for this project. The construction management team is presented here with. I wanted to especially highlight my colleague Jeff Tan, who is the resident engineer and will be the main point of contact on site for this project. So let's begin. Next slide. The agenda for tonight, we'll go over the project overview. We'll discuss the project objective, highlight some corridor improvements, and focus on sequence of construction, the construction timeline, and lastly, how to stay connected with our team and discuss any questions or concerns that you all may have. Next slide. We want to acknowledge the community partners. This is a highly urban area that has a lot of foot traffic as well as vehicular traffic. Each of the community members have a stake in this project, and we are all working together to accomplish this project that will bring a lot of benefit to this area. Next slide. So the project overview. It's on Connecticut Avenue from Macomb to Porter Street, with some work also being done on Ordway. Next slide. Now we mentioned some of the project objectives, and I will reiterate some of what he said. But it's important to note that at this point, Ddot has issued final drawings, has advertised for the contract, and has procured successfully a contractor on board to perform all the improvement in the final design plans. We are excited to be working with the contractor. The project objectives mainly falls into three categories: to address the corridor drainage concerns, to improve pedestrian safety and multimodal accessibility as part of the mayor's Vision Zero, and lastly, to create a unified branding along this corridor and embrace the corridor's history. And you'll see some of the examples over the next few slides. Next slide. Many of you have been residents in this area for a long time. Some of you remember probably what happened on June of 2016, which is the impetus for this project. After a 100-year storm event, there were major flooding in the metro station in the area and caused a lot of damage to the community and to the business as well. Next slide. The main reason for the reoccurring drainage is simply due to an inadequate and undersized storm drain system, which leads to limited storage capacity of stormwater. And with the recent more severe heavy rainstorms, it simply cannot handle the rainfall and the stormwater. Next slide. So that is one of the primary purposes of this project, is to improve the drainage and to ensure that stormwater events, the stormwater flow, are being captured. This is a sheet from the contract plans, and how we're going to improve drainage is to increase the current pipe sizes, add additional stormwater catch basins, install intercept stormwater facilities at alleyways, all this to increase stormwater storage capacity. So this plan right here, you can see Connecticut Avenue running left to right and Ordway running north and south. The new pipe is shown in black and white with new manholes and new catch basins at the bottom left-hand corner. And in order for us to get the drainage pipes into the ground, the community will see trenching activities by the contractor to install the larger drainage pipes. Next slide. Now, discuss the other objectives. So the existing conditions. Many of you have participated in previous public meetings, and we've heard from you. Our design team has heard from you. We understand that the existing conditions, there's a lot of pedestrian trip hazards, there's limited on-road bike accommodations, in some of the intersections, the crossings and circulations are not ideal. Next slide. In addition, there is a service lane in this area. The service lane right now, there's no behavior indicator separating traffic with the pedestrians. And that leads to many unsafe situations leading to potentially negative accidents. So these two pictures shows the lack of ADA upgrades as well as folks walking where vehicles typically travel. Next slide. So in order to address this, we proposed raising these service lanes and creating a shared use area. So what that's going to allow is ADA upgrades on the sidewalk. We're going to install behavioral indicators such as planters, bollards to separate traffic from pedestrians. Additionally, with the service lane raised up, it will allow for more window shopping, storefront seating. We'll plant more trees. And lastly, as part of the installation, we'll have a uniform granite banding on the service lane that's going to contribute to the overall feel of this corridor. Next slide. This is a cross-section view of the shared use area on that service lane on Connecticut Avenue. The existing condition is shown at the top, and the proposed shared use area is shown at the bottom. So it's important to note that there's no reduction of vehicular traffic or parking area. We are creating a behavioral indicator to separate traffic from pedestrians. Next slide. Another major change will be at Connecticut and Ordway. And Dawid mentioned it. This is part of Vision Zero. The current conditions shown on the left, the service lane exits directly to Ordway. This creates a lot of confusions for pedestrians and creates a lot of potential negative accidents that could occur with pedestrians intermingling with the vehicles. On your right, is the rendering of the proposed improvements. The service lane, which will be raised, will no longer have direct access to Ordway. That is a realignment change. Folks using the service lane will have to exit directly onto Connecticut Avenue via a signalized intersection. Next slide. Lastly, we want to highlight certain areas of the corridor that may be very familiar with you and show you exactly what some of the rendering improvements will look like. This is near the Uptown Theater. Next slide. The before condition is shown on the right and the after conditions shown on the left. It's important to note that we are not installing larger sidewalks, but we're enhancing the existing sidewalks. We're creating tree pits that will be consistent and laid out consistently. We'll have additional seating areas for folks of the community. And you see that uniform granite banding that will also be installed as part of the sidewalk enhancements. Just overall, a larger area and a more feeling of a community brand. Next slide. This is at the public realm area near the fire station. Next slide. So again, some of the same theme you saw on the other location near the theater, additional benches, tree pit layout consistency, removal of any type of trip hazards, and a uniform theme to the sidewalks. Next slide. We also mentioned safety, and that is the major and final objective for this project. We take Mayor Bowser's Vision Zero initiatives seriously. And as part of the design team's effort is to create and design and install situations which minimizes pedestrian vehicular fatalities. So this is at Ordway in Connecticut Avenue. You may have remembered that I mentioned that the service lane on Connecticut can no longer access Ordway directly. So you can see it on the right side that Ordway will have to exit on Connecticut. And what that allowed folks from the design team to do is to bump out the curb and sidewalk at that intersection, at that node at the intersection. And what that does, it's going to create and minimize pedestrian crossing time across Connecticut Avenue. It's going to improve pedestrian circulation. It's going to increase public space. It's going to allow for more bike accommodations, ADA upgrades, and finally, new and upgraded traffic and pedestrian signals. Next slide. One more major change, again, as part of the mayor's Vision Zero initiatives, is at the intersection of Porter, Quebec, and Connecticut Avenue. So note the existing conditions. You have what's called a slip lane from Quebec to Porter to Connecticut. And as you can imagine, that creates a lot of pedestrian crossings that can lead to potentially negative impacts with vehicles. We're going to eliminate all that. On the right-hand side is the proposed conditions. You can tell that coming from Quebec, we're going to eliminate slip lane directly onto Porter, and Porter will no longer have a slip lane directly to Connecticut Avenue either. All of it is going to be signalized and controlled. That additional area is going to create Porter Square, allow for more community gatherings, additional seating areas, and a general space for the community to gather. Next slide. This is just a cross-section and street level view of the current conditions and the proposed conditions. Next slide. So many new exciting changes and improvements coming to this corridor. I'm excited to share them. I think it's going to look great. And my colleague here, Jeff Tan, is going to discuss exactly how we are going to accomplish what we set out to accomplish and discuss the proposed construction sequences. Mr. Tan?
Just to introduce myself a little bit more, my name is Jeff Tan, and I'm gonna be the rent engineer for this project. I think that is, I'm gonna be working in the field on a daily basis from the start to the end of this project. And you're gonna see my faces more because my field office is 3 minutes walking distance to the metro station. And my job here is to making sure that to creating a teaming environment with the Ddot, with contractor, and also with public and residents here to deliver a successful project together. So now I'm going to talk about the proposed construction sequence. As you can see that on the map showed it on the screen, we have divided this project into different sequences. To be easier to interpret it, we have marked it in different colors. We have Porter Street work, we have Ordway Street, we have the Connecticut Avenue northbound side and Connecticut Avenue southbound side. So I'm going to elaborate a little bit more in the future slides, but first of all, I want to give you some overview. The working hours, the construction working hours will be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's our normal working hours. And also, if we have to do any land closure, like down the Connecticut Avenue, the land closure will be 9:30 to 3:30 p.m. And regarding all the detailed constructions, you may want to see what time which are going to impact you or where you're going to be experience some construction. We will post all the construction updates on our website. And also we will also update the 2 weeks look ahead on our website. Sometimes if you want to know that if your parking issues, we're going to posting the no parking signs in 72 hours in advance the notice, and those signs will be posted on the street so you can see it. Okay, next slide. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the if you're gonna live in Ordway, if you're the residents there or business there, here's what you're gonna encounter. First of all, we're gonna have 2 alley closed, which is behind the Target and also behind the George Washington Emergency Care. And we're gonna have a temporary parking lot closure along the Ordway and also temporary parking lot exit closed. You can still use the entrance to get out from the parking lot, but the access will be closed while we're doing the construction on the Ordway. And we will have an Ordway detour with, as you can see from there's an arrow sign showed that the detour will be, and we will temporarily relocate the bus stops, but the fire station access will always maintain open. As we know that you may gonna use some of the business or some of the residents are gonna use the alley for your loading, parking, and trash collection needs. So we will coordinate with you individually to making sure to minimize the disturbance for those. So feel free to reach out to us using the website, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. In the meantime, me and our team will be on site working with the contractor on a daily basis. So feel free to kind of like reach out to me, and if you have any questions and concerns. Next slide. The next one is on the Porter Street, which was marked on blue on the previous map. What you're gonna encounter is we have also temporary alley closure. As you can see from the map, there's an arrow sign showed that where those alley will be. And also we're going to have a Porter Street traffic detour, Metrobus H4 and H3 detour. And of course, the temporary parking lot will be closed during the construction for the Porter Street. There will be a full lane open for the bicycles because we are aware that this Porter Street is always used for bicycle lanes. Again, I want to emphasize that during the alley construction, please let us know any needs, loading, parking, trash connections, and we will take care of that. As I mentioned that the Porter Street and Ordway, those are doing the trench works. Most of the work is trench works. So there will be, once we done the trench on the day, there will be a steel placed on that area to making sure you can still get the access there. But just the construction will be majority of the 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Next slide. Okay, once we completed the Porter and Ordway, we're gonna go into the Connecticut Avenue Northbound, which you can see that, which is everyone knows the service land. We're gonna create a shared use service land for you. So during the construction, the service land will be closed, and also the northbound of the parking lot will be closed, temporarily closed. We're aware that there's a lot of business in that area, so we will construct the sidewalk in segments. By saying that is your business or restaurant will be open to your clients at all times. We'll maintain access for you. For the loading needs, there's a rear alley. They're going to constantly open all the time during the construction. There will be only one bus stop. We will temporarily relocate it. We're going to put the new ramps at the intersection of Ordway and Connecticut Avenue during this construction time. So this is a very exciting part of this project, is because we're gonna creating a brand new service land for you, and also upgraded sidewalk areas. All those features, I believe, is gonna attracting more tourists to come to this area, and also a lot of community events would like to happen hold in this area, so which is very exciting. Next slide. The next one is Connecticut Avenue southbound. Same thing. You're gonna have temporary parking lot closure. For whoever is gonna your clients, you can let them know they can still parking on the other side of park using another side of parking lot. We're gonna do the sidewalk construction segments like we do on the northbound. Access to business and restaurants will maintain all the time. The fire station access maintained all the time. Next slide, please. Okay, so overall, this project will start in March 21st, 2022. It will be 20 months in construction. So the anticipated construction completion will be for 2023. So I'm gonna hand it to Jam, which is our public relation outreach, and she will talk about more.
Thank you, Jeff. We will begin our question and answer segment in just a few moments, but before we do, I do want to enlighten you on our Title VI questionnaire. As a recipient of federal assistance, Ddot must ensure that all of its program, activities, and public meetings are conducted in compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This act ensures non-discrimination based on race, color, or national origin. The Title VI Public Meeting Participant Questionnaire is used to help Ddot ensure that we are informing the public and conducting our meetings in a non-discriminatory manner in compliance with Title VI. Project comments and/or concerns may also be submitted through this form. We appreciate anyone who is willing to complete the form. You can copy the link at the top of the page or scan the QR code with your phone, which will take you directly to the questionnaire. As a reminder, to send a question, click the three-dot icon in the bottom right side of the WebEx window and select Q&A. A new panel or window will appear. In the Ask field, select All Panelists, click the text box to type your question, and press Enter to send it. If you join via browser or mobile app, click the question mark icon to access the Q&A to ask questions. If you dialed in by phone, dial *3 to use the raised hand function. This indicates to the project team that you would like to speak and ask a question. At this time, we will open the meeting for questions and discussions, and we will read our questions that are in the chat first. I'll turn this over to Blair.
Thank you, Jam. Andrew, Tricia R. is wondering, whether the service lane will be reopening since it is currently closed to traffic.
Question. Ddot, are you aware of any closures currently on the service lane right now? Don't hear anything from Ddot. So Trisha, if you could follow up with that question.
Is he referring to the street? I'm sorry. Yeah, is he referring to the streeteries? Or what are you referring to?
The service lane on Connecticut Avenue that's currently closed to traffic.
Right, that is independent of this project. That is due to the when the pandemic came along, it was a mayor's direction to close that and have it open for the restaurants to give them access to business. So that is actually independent of this project.
Thank
Her
you,
question is, will that be changing back to in-service with the completion of our project?
Yes, again, that is independent. I hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but that is independent of this project. That is nothing that we are able to control.
Gotcha. Philip Brenner asks, what will be done on Macomb Street during this project?
Thank you for that question. I will ask Mr. Tan, Jeff, or Dawit if you have any response to the work that will be done at Macomb.
I can follow on. Yeah, I can follow up on that as well. Macomb Street is a separate project, and that is going to be between Ross Place and Connecticut Avenue, and that's in the early phase of design right now. We're still in the preliminary phases. So that, again, is independent of this project.
Thank you, Yvonne. So the answer to that question, there will be very limited work at this time as part of this project on Macomb in Connecticut.
All right. Kirsten Denny asks, will this slide deck be available somewhere?
Believe so, yes. Jam, if you can confirm.
Yes.
Or Mr.
The slide presentation will be posted on Ddot's website as well as the project website.
Dushan B asks, what is Ddot planning to do about the biggest safety hazard on this stretch? Ooh. Sorry, my screen just switched. On this stretch of Connecticut Avenue, which is bikers running down pedestrians with great glee, especially seniors.
Thank you for that question. That's unfortunate to hear. I would advise that this person pose that question to Ddot, and we will forward it to the appropriate authorities to address those questions.
There's actually information also on the Connecticut Avenue Reversible Lane project, and I can put the website to that project in the chat. That's going to put a protected bike lanes for about a 3-mile corridor of Connecticut Avenue, of which this is a part of. I'll put that website in the chat.
Thank you, Yvonne. That's a great answer. So there is an upcoming project related to separation of bikers and pedestrian, but that is independent of this project. So I would definitely reach out to Ddot to inquire more about the project if that's of your interest.
Cassandra asks, approximately how long do you anticipate construction would last in front of one storefront?
Jeff, can you answer that question for us?
Yes, if you're talking about the one that connected the southbound that's at the service lane, we kind of like the construction, because that's 2 parts. One is for the service lane, the other side is for the sidewalk. Overall construction, the proposed construction period will be 3 months.
Cassandra also asks, if Quebec Street is closed to merging at Porter, how will residents be able to use that street if there is no rear exit?
Yvonne, Yvonne, if you have any comments, I can wrap it up that question as well. Do you have any comments to that question, Yvonne?
I'm sorry, what was the question? What dealt with the service lane and access?
No,
If
I
I'm not
think
sure I
Quebec
understood the
Street-
question.
Blair, go ahead. I'm sorry, Blair.
No worries. If Quebec Street is closed to its merging at Porter, how will residents be able to use that street since there is no rear exit?
Always left the one lane open for the residents to get in and get out. We're not going to close the whole thing.
Okay. Sorry, a lot of questions coming in. A significant safety problem concerns northbound traffic during turning left onto Macomb Street. Might it be possible to include a left turn light at the corner of Macomb and Connecticut Avenue?
Thank you for that question, Yvonne. This is a design-related question.
I'm not sure if what the study showed as far as traffic volume, so we'll have to get back with you on that.
I'm going to veer away from the Q&A section for 1 second. I see JC Ayala has raised their hand. If someone could unmute them.
Hi, good evening. Can you guys hear me? Perfect. Thank you so much. My name is Jose Ayala. I'm 3020 Porter Street. I'm also principal planner with the city of Alexandria. And although it's not the service street is not part of the project, I was just wondering, once you finish with the construction, would it be possible to continue having the street reading permanent, or perhaps if you can give us the web page or the link that we can we as a resident can talk to whoever is in charge to make sure that this will be evaluated to be a permanent closure. I understand that when you guys decided this, it was pre-COVID, so now it's a different environment that we are in, and if the city is looking to improve the quality of the pedestrian realm, I think it is extremely important that rather than thinking about using this raised alleyway for parking, it should be just permanent for pedestrian.
Hi, this is Jam. Thank you for your comment. We ask that you leave us your email so that we can address that and send you additional information. I will have the email and website posted in just a few moments. So if you can jot that down, and I'll also repeat it for you, but we'll be glad to address that for you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. The mayor indicated that she might keep the service lane closed on a permanent basis. If she does this, your design for that lane and its exit will be drastically changed. How can you separate how can we separate the use of the service land from the proposed design?
I could address that. Actually, with the way it is designed, it can very easily be modified to be permanent for pedestrians only. By the fact that it's raised makes it much easier for the servers as well as the users to transition from one space to the other. So the fact that it, if it does remain permanent, or at least for the immediate future, it would be very easy to address that.
Can you put a red light camera at Ordway and Connecticut? Drivers run the red light all the time.
Yvonne, I think that's another one.
Yeah, that
for
actually is
you.
something that the MPD police department does the red lights. That is, I believe, if someone else maybe can confirm that. That's my understanding.
Hey Yvonne,
Yes.
this is Christian Pinera. Oh yes. So yeah, our speed cameras and red light cameras that does fall under Ddot's ATE program. Those are typically independent from these corridor-wide studies, although we can always appreciate additional feedback for safety measures moving forward. I do also know that with the Connecticut Avenue reversible lane study, there will be modifications with current traffic flow, and that will be, of course, part of this stretch of the corridor as well. So a lot of those immediate changes with traffic will be addressed down the line. But feel free to coordinate with us internally, and we can see if there's a way to have those expedited through like our traffic safety process, which is a whole different venue that residents can use to enhance traffic safety.
I just want to follow up with that. It actually is being looked at with the Connecticut Avenue study that is currently underway.
All right. During development, Ddot stated that the traffic light at Quebec and Porter would be kept. That traffic light is essential given the traffic to the large Quebec House apartments and to the popular Adas Israel. Can you confirm that the traffic light will still be there?
Jeff, Dawit.
Yes, the traffic light will be upgraded and it will be there.
Thank you, Dawit.
What is the best method for businesses to contact Mr. Tan to coordinate deliveries and sanitation pickup?
Hi, this is Jam Kendrick. I am going to post our website and my email contact information. My team will coordinate with the businesses along the corridor to ensure that your deliveries are delivered and there is minimal impact to your business. So I will post that in the chat in just a few moments.
Jam. Blair, next question.
Yes, for some reason my screen keeps going back to the top. All right, will folks be able to exit the Sam's Park and Shop parking lot during Ordway construction? If not, for what length of time do you anticipate that to be? And is it the same with entering from Connecticut Avenue into the shopping center?
Yeah, I can answer that. Actually, we have one entrance way and an exit way to that shopping center. So we will maintain the entrance way all the time open. It's just gonna close to the exit way. So which means that you can use the entrance to exit. So to answer that question is you will be able to exit the parking lot all the time and also enter it from the Connecticut Avenue using the same entrance.
Thank you, Jeff.
The website listed above. Oh. There we go. Okay, the website listed above for where the presentation requires ArcGIS credentials. Will the presentation be available to the general public?
The presentation will be available to the general public. It'll be available on this website as well as Ddot's website.
Thank you, Jam. Blair, I think before we go to the next question, I believe there's a Cassandra that raised her hand. Did you see that?
See, yes. Can we unmute Cassandra?
Hi, I'm Cassandra Hetherington. I'm the Cleveland Park Main Street manager and I represent the businesses. So I'm one of the best liaisons between you all and the businesses. I look forward to working with you. One of my questions was, and I know that things are going to happen and things will come up, but what is the estimated time frame for each phase that you identified? Number 1, Ordway and Porter. Number 2, Connecticut Avenue northbound. And number 3, Connecticut Avenue southbound. Thank you.
I can answer that. Hey, actually, that's kind of like really depend on the construction because it's maybe have some kind of like during the construction, a lot of unforeseen circumstances. But to answer your question, straightforward is my best guess is probably every phase is kind of like a 3 to 5 months period. And also we, like I mentioned that before, we're gonna post it more detailed schedule on our website, and also the 2 weeks look ahead schedule on that. But I would suggest you to reach out to Jam, and we can talk to you more about the details since we might need your help for coordination, all those things. Thank you.
All right, Molly, thank you for bringing this question to light. Commissioner for 3C05 asks, what can we do to help facilitate this and expedite the project so that it gets completed as soon as possible?
Jeff, do you want to, and do you want to start? I can comment on this question as well. Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead,
Jeff.
Andrew. Yeah, I think it's best way is to reach out to our public outreach manager, Jam, and we will follow up that. I really appreciate every help that we can get because this is a project that without everyone's help, it will not be very successful. So we like to help, kind of like coordinate with individuals. That's my kind of, we anticipate that. So again, so if you can reach out and we can talk about it in details, that's much appreciated.
Thank you, Jeff. Reach out to Jam if you have any concerns. We'll try and work into our best of our abilities with the community.
Yes, hi, this is Jam again. I've been in constant contact with Cassandra and look forward to working with the community during this project. We will coordinate with the businesses and retailers to ensure that the impact is minimal as possible. So.
All right, the last question that I can see right now is cars tend to drive pretty fast on the Ordway and Macomb loop. I know it's not part of this project, but with these great safety upgrades, it would be nice to be addressed as well. Do residents need to petition for speed bumps?
Yvonne, did you want to take this one?
It certainly does help if the residents do petition for that, independent of the project. But we are looking at adding speed bumps, obviously on Connecticut Avenue we can't, but on some of the side streets, we are looking at it as part of the Cleveland Park protected bike lane project.
Thank you.
Cassandra asks, will Ddot or the subcontractor be willing to provide signage to the businesses indicating they are open for business?
No, at this moment, according to our plan, it's not. And again, you can reach out to Jam if you have any specific needs, and we will address that.
Yes, hi Cassandra, please send me an email. We will talk about it and I'll present it back to the team.
Thank you, Jam.
That is all I see for questions, Q&A, and the chat.
Okay, thank you, Blair. We'll be here for a few more moments, but I do want to reiterate my contact information. It's info@clevelandparkstreetscape.com. The website is www.clevelandparkstreetscape.com. We also have a QR code here where you can scan the code and go directly to the website. We encourage you to register for our email list so that we may keep you included on activities that are happening on the project corridor. The Ddot Community Engagement Specialist is Christian Pinero. Christian.Pinero@dc.gov is his contact information. We are here to work with the community. We're excited to bring this to the Cleveland Park area, and we are looking forward to working with the community throughout this project. I don't have any further questions that I can see at this point. And if there are no further questions or questions and concerns, we will close out this meeting. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Jam, why don't we wait until 7:30, 4 more minutes, just to give anybody another opportunity to ask any questions?
Sure.
I do see one more. Will this project eliminate the need for sandbags around the metro venting?
Jeff?
Yeah, the answer is yes, for sure. It's, yeah, more than that, but yes, for sure.
Yes, this project will aim to improve the drainage in that area based on the design storm. So we hope that it will work and provide for improved drainage in the area.
I do want to mention that the website will include 2-week look-ahead notices, traffic advisories. We'll also have construction update notices and photos. Anything that's pertinent to the project will be on this website. So we encourage you to go to the website often.
Cassandra has a question about trees.
So I have been in contact with Main Street managers who have had similar projects on their corridors, and one of the things that has happened is that due to all of the disruptions, the trees often will die, and new trees need to be replanted. I was told that we could maybe ask to save some of the trees in case that's might happen. I don't know if that's something that is taken into consideration. That's my first question. And then my second question is actually about the Granite Bollards. Are those the ones along the streetscape? I mean, the service lane, are those already purchased? They're not attractive. I'm sorry.
I will start. As far as the trees, if you have anything specific in mind, I would suggest that you reach out to our team and we'll address it on a case-by-case scenario. Yvonne, did you have any comments about the trees or the bollards?
Well, there will be a warranty on the trees. So if anything does die shortly after being planted, it will be replaced. As far as the bollards, that is something that was designed and it's in the bid package. So they have actually already been bid upon as they are in the package.
Okay, thank you.
JC Ayala asks, is it possible for you to explain the route of the H buses again during the construction?
Jeff?
You can answer that. Yeah, can we kind of put it to the slides? As some better picture of it. I think the next one. Next one. Yeah, this is the one, the Metrobus one. As you can see here, I think that you should be able to find where the Connecticut Avenue is. So normally what happened is if you coming from the 34th Street, which is the Porter Street to Connecticut Avenue, the Metrobus will take a detour from the Roadman Street northwest to the Connecticut Avenue. That's the detour between the 34th Street and the Connecticut Avenue. That area, it will be take a detour for the Metrobus. H3 and H3 and H4 stations. Yeah, we can leave this page there unless you have further question.
Daniela asks, can you repeat which website has a link for email updates on the project, or will it come up on the Cleveland Park Streetscape.com website at a later date? Jam.
You can sign up for email notifications through the website. If you scroll to the bottom of the first page, it'll say contact us.
And I believe the website is active, correct, Jam?
That is correct. Yes, the website is active. And at this point, we have the meeting notices, the project flyer, and some details and some presentations from past presentations throughout the design phases.
Jam, I think we receiving any questions?
Yep, one just trickled in. Can you explain the different jurisdictions involved with Macomb Street to Ross Place? There was some discussion about speed bumps on Macomb. Is that realistic? Given fire engine use of Macomb Street, how will the sidewalks meet up with planned new sidewalks on Macomb Street in a separate plan? Will the Macomb Street sidewalk project necessitate digging up? I'm assuming the road.
Yeah, again, the Macomb Street project is in the very, very early stages. We're still looking at cross sections and alternatives on that project. I can go ahead and put the website in the chat. Actually, the website is still under, I believe it's might still be under construction, but I'll put it in the chat if we do have it, or I'll let you know if I don't. But again, that's still very, very early, so things like speed bumps would come a little bit later, and that does depend on traffic volumes.
Claire, do you see any additional questions?
I do not.
I'll turn it back over to the Ddot and construction team at this point.
Thank you, Jam. We're very excited to be part of the team that will be bringing some of these improvements to this corridor. I'm very much looking forward to this project. Dawit, did you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Commissioner, offering your help. We're going to work with you, and we're going to close this project as soon as we can. So thank you all for asking all the good questions. If we don't respond some of the question at this point, we will follow up and respond it back to you guys. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
All right.